All right, boys. In today's presentation, what we're going to cover is conditioning and how to actually change your brain to change your life. In today's presentation, you're going to get the tools, the techniques that I personally used to go from 300-pound housebound agoraphobic who hadn't really got his first date and moved his life forward much at all to transforming every facet of my being through operant conditioning, repetition, and what we call neuroplasticity. If you are stuck, if you are having inconsistency, if you are moving forward a bit and then find yourself just unable to move, if there's parts of you which are patterns that you can't break out of, be it limiting beliefs, be it sense of self, be it just these like automatic assumptions that you're not enough or you can't do this and can't do that. Today's group training is about absolutely shattering that and just breaking your brain to accept a new reality where you can just basically be limitless. Okay, so let's get into it. Today's about how to stop being a lazy slug and beat your conditioning. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Aristotle, one of the wisest men who ever existed, and he, writing many, many moons ago, already understood conditioning and habit. We now know more about it, but sometimes the truth hides in plain sight. Right. So, did you guys know that, would you believe your biology doesn't care about your hopes and dreams and aspirations? Would you believe your biology is already pre-programmed for survival and replication? And provided you are sauntering around, moving forward, able to consume liquids and proteins, that is just about all your body and genes want you to do. Your body and genes don't want you to take risks. Your body and genes don't want you to leave the safety of the herd and the tribe. What they want you to do is basically scurry around, be a low effort Neanderthal, pass on your genes, preserve the species, and basically die. That's what you're pre-programmed to do. In tribal society, most men would have been followers. There'd be a leader, sure. There'd be a person who was truly called to expand the tribe and move it forward. And then other men, most of them, would just be there conserving energy. Some would be hunting and gathering and so on and so forth. The overwhelming majority of men died virgins throughout history. Only a small subset of men actually had sexual access. The overwhelming majority of men through evolutionary history lived lives of quiet desperation. And it's not necessarily their fault. It's because we are conditioned for comfort, safety, and minimum effort. Your nervous system, or your brain, you could say, actually fights change when you try to outgrow it. And I'll give you a brief learning. An example. When I was going through my journey, up to the age of 30, all I'd really known was like one way, which was really shitty times in social and relationships. And when I finally started to get dates and all these sorts of things, my brain actually couldn't believe it. And it truly couldn't accept it. And the process of just frying my fucking belief system and showing myself that, okay, what is going on inside of my skull is not reality, was something that most people are never going to be able to overcome. Your concept of reality, if it gets to the point where it gets completely fried, thereafter, you're just no longer the same human being that you previously were. You don't know how to make sense of the world anymore. And the decision that I made was, well, fuck it. If what was going on inside of my skull for 30 years was basically complete fucking bullshit, I'm now going to live as if there isn't any limits to my abilities. And you get to make these decisions. You get to override your default animal programming and install a new baseline. And in relentless execution, in what we do over here, my argument is just be an executor. Literally just be an action taker. Just be a guy who pulls the trigger and let the chips fall where they may. So, going into this a little bit more. Our brain and body learns socially. Your body doesn't care about your hopes, your dreams, your potential, your future identity. Your nervous system, as we said in the previous slide, is actually evolved for energy conservation and threat avoidance. This is going to be really big as you finally get the idea that I'm trying to teach you today. Threat avoidance and energy conservation and survival. Yeah. You all have tried to make change in the past. Many, many, many times. What happens? You may be okay for a day or two. Laziness starts to sink in, day 3. It just gets progressively more hard. Your brain and body starts to tell you, this is boring. I'm not enjoying this. Whatever excuse it may come up with. There's no point. This is so difficult. I'm not going to get anywhere with it. So on and so forth. If your body ran your life optimally, you'd still be living in a cave, eating berries, avoiding danger, and conserving calories. That's actually how the human animal works. And how societies and civilization and history moves forward is a few men, often, to be honest, it's men, are called and are so insanely inspired, they just break their conditioning and break their chains. And that's all you've got to do in this life, gentlemen, all of you here today. The only thing you're called to do is wake up to your conditioning, decide it's bullshit, and break your chains, and that's it. Decide, and over the course of today's call, it's going to come really, really clear that your fucking brain is lying to you. Lying. It's trying to make you conserve energy. It's trying to make you survive. It's not necessarily on your side. Isn't this interesting? And the people who run societies and are the marketers and those who create the ideas that construct our reality, they all know this. And this is how people are socially controlled. Okay. Your brain's an accountant. It constantly asks, how do I get the most reward for the least effort? Yeah. In the modern world, the fuckery that we're up against is there is dopamine without effort, there's comfort without risk, and there's stimulation without growth. So what does it do? You literally live as a modern man in this shut down, asleep state. Life as a modern man, if you don't aggressively go against the conditioning in the world, it is by default lived in a shut down, asleep state. Because your fucking hard wiring wants you to avoid effort. It wants you to just be comfortable and do fuck all. Because your genes are programmed to do that. And then the culture that your modern brain is in is then giving you dopamine without effort, comfort without risk, and stimulation without growth. In other words, we're now in a society that unless you can really see the scam for what it is, you're fucked. You're fucked. Because the whole world is trying to keep you asleep in a avoiding friction and tension. All right. Social programming. How do you learn to be small? How do you learn to not see the scam for what it is? As we come up in mass civilization, where we're no longer in like tight-knit tribes who've got the same goals as us, who want to support us in our mission, whose survival depends on us flourishing and thriving. Now we live in these like disconnected modern mass societies of politics and control and civilization. As we're growing up, when we are pushing the limits and being confident or exerting ourselves, someone else may not like that. It might be a teacher, it might be a peer. They may tell you things like, don't be weird, don't stand out, this isn't you, blah, blah, blah. And then you've got memories that get imprinted into your psyche of rejection, failure, embarrassment. And guess what happens to your primitive brain? It then tags action and expansion as danger. It happens early on through the pain you experience in social programming. And then it just stays with you for the rest of your fucking life, unless you break your chains. It becomes conditioned into you. Don't expand, because you risk being ostracized from the tribe. And your ancient programming knows that if you get ostracized from the tribe, it is over. Humans can't exist in the wild alone. So the parts of your biology that are designed to keep you alive can get very adversely conditioned in modern society. And this, if you're struggling with breaking through to the next level, this has happened to you. You're conditioned. You're brainwashed to be small. And you want to know how the ultimate test is? This wiring is so deep in you that when you actually try to put a plan together and do things, after a few days, you feel bored, you feel stressed, you feel anxious. You have these thoughts that are just honestly complete bullshit, that this is not worth it, it's not going to work out, I want to do other things, I want whatever. It's all mind-generated bullshit from this social programming, from this. From when you were a kid and you were told not to do it was so random. It got imprinted. And now you're an adult and you're trying to expand or go to the gym or whatever the case may be, and your body and brain fucking lies to you. It has the advantage over you. It just manipulates you into just being tired and, just lazing around. Because, gentlemen, you're coming up against your actual subconscious programmer. You see? The idea is starting to get clearer to you. So, gentlemen, social conditioning breeds stagnation and lack. Stagnation, lack of massive action, creates slow identity decay. When you start to get stagnant, when you're not really pushing yourself into the bleeding edge of life, when you're not going after your goals like a man possessed, unfortunately what happens? You slowly but surely are no longer in an upward spiral of abundance, of positivity. Would you believe massive action actually autocorrects a lot of this? Pushing yourself and going further and embracing the discomfort and embracing the stress and embracing the grind and actually putting evolutionary pressure on yourself breaks you out of stagnation. Because when you are in stagnation, you're on a downwards trajectory. You've got more numbness. You've got more tiredness. You've got more bitterness. You've got more quiet despair. You've got more resentment. And your brain starts to create all these, honestly, just stupid thought patterns that you're too old, that you're too unattractive, that you're in the wrong era, whatever. All of it is lies coming from your reptilian brain that's trying to get you to minimize effort, minimize energy, minimize risk. Do you see what's happening, gents? Do you see the mind control you're under? Do you see what's happened? You're in a global mass civilization that wants you to be a fucking sheep and consumer, that just wants you to be plugged into the global economy as another fucking cock masturbating, sitting in front of his TV, rotting. And that is what you're up against. That's what's happened to modern man. It's not even your fault. It's an impossible situation for our biology to be in. Utterly impossible. Okay? And then you guys come to programs like this where we wake up and understand we've got some fucking problems here. And guys, if you wake up not on a mission, not inspired by the goals you've got, you have got a problem that runs far deeper than you may currently be aware. And you have got quite a journey ahead of you. And until you can truly wake up confident, inspired, and knowing I'm on a motherfucking mission, you have got quite a journey with this, gentlemen. Because you've been conditioned deep. All right? It's not profiting you. It's profiting society. It's profiting corporations. It's profiting politicians, governments. It's not profiting you. So, how do we break our chains? How conditioning actually changes? How you shift your baseline conditioning, and this is what I've got several of my guys doing right now. Ash has been doing it for a while. Ken's been doing it for a while. Alex just started it recently. Ali, your conditioning's pretty good, but you'd still benefit from this. Other guys who are going to watch the recording, Jeff, your conditioning is absolute dog shit. You need this more than anyone else in the whole program. But you'll get it, and it will work. How you shift your baseline conditioning is by retraining your subconscious brain through repetitive content to associate expansion and development with safety. When your brain believes that the tribe you're in has deemed it safe to expand and broaden, you'll start the process of removing the inner friction, inner tension, and all of the thoughts and mind-generated, self-inflicted bullshit that does nothing but distract you, that does nothing that make you tired and fatigued, that does nothing that make you anxious. All of think about it like this, guys. Your brain has got a fundamental baseline parameter where it's made a decision of what's safe. So it might think waking up late is safe, playing video games is safe, eating some bullshit is safe. So it'll let you do it. But then outside of that, going to the gym, going to watch sunrise and sunset, drinking water, cold approaching, working on your social skills, working on your business, working on your looks and SMV, the shit that men in this world now have to motherfucking do. There's no alternative, boys. Sorry. Even though I'm not sorry. You have to do these things now. But the thing that I have to change within you is to get your brain conditioning to stop fighting. Because whilst it's fighting you, you won't move. And I'm going to train you how to do it. It's not just willpower, it's conditioning and repetition. So, how do we actually manifestly change our conditioning? Guys, if you came up, as we all did, in a social situation where we weren't necessarily the popular kid or the gifted kid, we weren't massively affirmed by our family, we weren't taught, hey man, you're great, you can go achieve whatever you want. Everyone liked us, so on and so forth. If you weren't that kid who had it easy, who was taught that he can just go do whatever he wants, your brain has been imprinted to not push the boundaries. Okay? So how we solve this problem is we actually have to rebuild our baseline conditioning. So we have to recondition ourselves for success. How do we do it? It's best done through what we call repetitive content. All right? I'll give you 2 examples, and then you're going to choose who you want to be. There's one who, as he goes through life, watches content that is rage bait, that is anti, I don't know, politics, who just is engaged in all the problems of the world and how the world is going to shit and there's this crisis and that crisis. And he watches these videos and he reads these articles and he goes around his other, frankly, loser friends and bitches with them. And they're all negative and they're drinking beer and masturbating to pornography and they have OnlyFans subscriptions and don't go to the gym. Their conditioning is going to continue to produce this shit. And at any time this guy even tries to get out, his fucking brain is full of thoughts that are saying, well, there's no point because civilization's ending anyway. Well, there's no point because this happened and that happened. And he's got fucking demons screaming in his head, telling him, well, I'm not really like this. I can't do this. All of that is just conditioning. Yeah. And I don't even blame that guy because it's basically, I was that guy. It's basically almost too fucking hard when every second of your thoughts is just telling you can't do it anyway and you feel like shit. And you feel lazy and don't want to do jack shit. You've never really even had motivation in your life. That is one example of repetitive content. And here is another example of repetitive content. And here's what I started to do at 25. Literally at 25 what I did, it changed my life. At 25, I was like, okay, everything I've done in my life, I'm a fucking total failure. I'm a fucking, look at me, I'm a fucking 300 pounds virgin. I look like an absolute sack of shit. I've got no friends. I'm no one. I'm nothing. I humbled myself because I was a complete loser. That's all you can call someone like that. I ain't got a job. I haven't even left my house. I'm a fucking total loser. I accepted it. I owned it. You know, even my fucking family's laughing at me. Like I got nothing left. Nothing. I am no one. I was dirt, zero, ground, nothing. At that point, I humbled myself because there's nothing left. So I built myself up again. all I did from that day on, because I remember I was fucking begging. I was honest, because I'm religious. I was asking God for help. Like, I didn't know what else to do. Within 1 second, the idea just came to me: conditioning, repetition, and I genuinely didn't stop from there. I'm an example of someone who's actually did what I'm telling you today. I changed my repetitive content. I'll tell you exactly what I did. I used to listen to David Goggins every day for like 3 hours a day, the same podcast again and again. The first ever appearance he did on Joe Rogan. God knows how I even found it. It just came up on my screen. I clicked it that day. Had I not clicked that video that day, you wouldn't be speaking to me now. That's how fucking, yeah, it's God, isn't it? It's the divine that does this. So I decided, and in that video, David just talks about conditioning and just changing your brain. That's all he really talks about. He says, my brain was a quitter's brain because he'd had a horrible life. So he conditioned himself to just be focused. And every hour of my day, I just affirmed positive beliefs. I started losing weight. I did everything you could possibly do, but I was listening to David Goggins for 3 hours a day. Genuinely, rain or shine. I can now go back and show you guys videos of me like going out and cold approaching it. You know, fucking 6 years ago, fat as a motherfucker. And I've got these videos of me saying, well, I know I don't look good, but I'm only doing this because I know if I build the habit now, eventually I'll win. I've even got all these videos. They're all unlisted, but it's just crazy. All I did from 25 was I accepted I'm a fuck up. I accepted what got me there, and I just changed my conditioning every day by sitting there, locking my brain in for 3 hours a day and absorbing belief shifting content, absorbing superior thinking, because I could tell my brain was fucked, man. Fucked. So through that, what happened was my brain started to generate new automatic assumptions rather than like having something in front of me. And I felt like shit. Of course, my brain was screaming every second, don't do this, go eat bullshit. You know, that's how hard it is for guys with bad conditioning. Go masturbate, go do this, go do that. And what I had to do was just overpower myself all the time through specific materials based on changing my conditioning. And all I ever did and all I ever do to this day was spend each hour trying to improve my conditioning. That is it. Just trying to change my thought process and actions. And the key thing was I understood that I'm going to feel like shit because of how my brain is wired after all my shit life. I'm going to be bored. Everything, my brain is lying to me. How I knew, rather than you guys, you don't know it as deeply as I do, because look where it got me. Rock bottom, dude. So I knew, and I had that experience, and for that reason, once I saw it, I never stopped from there. And look how many years it's been now. So this is the thing, guys. Actually, once you awaken and you understand your brain's been wired very inappropriately, the process that I will then take you on is how to rewire that. Okay. So what you resist persists. The nervous system, right? Let me just see what's going on here. So what's it saying? Okay. So the nervous system learns through salience. What you fight emotionally is going to remain salient. Okay. What stays important subconsciously stays active as a pain point. So the thinking you've got to do to get your level 10 breakthrough is about consistency. It's about just doing the habitual repetitions. And importantly, understanding that everything that's screaming in your subconscious and unconscious is probably going to continue for a while. All right. So if you approach this process with more tension, tension begets more tension. If you're trying to slay the dragon and this and that, you're going to keep the thought process alive that you're not enough. you're going to keep the thought process alive of this is really hard or whatever. The actual way to actually shift your conditioning is to allow all of the pain and misery and whatever may be going on. I don't know if it's as bad as that for you right now, but if it is, the way to actually succeed is fully accept that that's what's going on in your brain. Okay. And you get there through a life of challenge, trauma, bullshit, poor biological habits, negative experiences. And the way to actually get out of that, you've got to stop resisting it. You've truly got to stop. Did you see what I said in the previous slide? I accepted it. I accepted I'm fucked up, man. Life fucked me up. So I absolutely accepted it, and I did nothing other than just do the right things, because I knew if I stay on the path for long enough, it's going to recondition me. And when I stopped, even in my journey the last couple of years, when I stopped working on my conditioning because I thought I was past it, my demons came back. You guys have got quite a journey ahead, all right? But the key thing is acceptance and understanding what you resist persists. You've got to just give into it. If you've got 50 pounds to lose, you've got to give into it and say, okay, I accept it. And I'm just going to recondition my mind. I'll tell you exactly what that looks like, and we'll go into it in the interaction as well. So, Eastern concept of Wu Wei. Non-resistance, not inaction. Wu Wei is this concept that comes in Eastern philosophy that when you let go and just do and be damned from a place of no internal friction, you can actually unlock your next level. What I want you to now really embrace is taking massive action, but from a place of utter acceptance. The things that will fuck you and mean you're never going to move is if you do it through telling yourself you're not enough, telling yourself that, oh, you've got all this way to go, you've got this mountain to climb, whatever. Movement without internal war will get you somewhere. Most men waste energy fighting fear, judging themselves, forcing motivation. All that does is increase fatigue and shutdown. You understand, part of this journey is just straight up spiritual. Like, you have to go off faith in these ideas. It's not like any of you've got anywhere else to go. You have to go off faith that if it's worked for all these other people, it'll work for you too. It's a subtle mindset thing. The obstacle is the path. The thing you're avoiding, the thing you want in your core, be it great relationships with women, be it a location-independent lifestyle, living from your laptop, be it traveling the world, be it building art or shrines or making a contribution to the world, whatever it is, the obstacle, the thing you seek is what's going to get you to level 10. That's what's going to get you to go on the attack. When you stop pushing for the things you want in life, everything collapses. Because remember what we said about the brain. It's trying to conserve energy. It's trying to keep you safe. It's going to fight you tooth and motherfucking nail. It's going to lie to you all day. It's going to haunt you night and motherfucking day. You know the hack. You know how you beat it. You set a goal that you want and crave in your fucking soul. You go for the things you want bad. And you say, I'll do anything for this. You actually exert so much evolutionary pressure on yourself that you force yourself to move. You just force yourself to go. You're going to feel tired. You're going to feel exhausted. You know what is even more exhausting? Playing small. That is a pathway to down into hell itself. Because nothing happens. The more bored you are in life, the more your brain drags you into boredom. The more you are not going after the goals you want, the relationships you want, the networking, the social skills, the business ability, the networking and brand building. The less you go after this shit, the more slow stagnation and rot takes over, and your brain restricts you even more. It creates even more resistance. The obstacle is the path. The things you want are the fuel to get to level 10, to get a breakthrough. And if you're struggling and just barely able to get shit done and barely progressing on in your path, it's because you're not even on the path. You're not even living true to yourself. You see, you're not even really going for what you want in life. Because if you did, you'd start. It won't happen for a while, but when you're on a mission, you'll start to feel passion and drive, and then you'll get consistent. But if you're not even going for the goals you want and care about, there's no reason for your brain to muster the energy. And guess what it'll do? It'll make you a fucking drone. Sit there, jerk off, rot, die. Huh? So, the reticular activating system. I didn't know this is going to be this invisible. I'll change it to red. Hopefully it's a bit better now. The RAS is a filtering system in your brainstem. It's a real scientific thing. It determines what you notice, what you ignore, and it's based on repetition, emotional intensity of experiences, and how relevant that thing might be to your identity. Your RAS is currently trained for... Oh, that's a bit clearer, isn't it? Threat detection, comfort seeking, and familiar patterns. Not Ali, yours is not. Yours is pretty good, Ali. You've been pretty fucking solid. But for the rest of you, this is not a bad thing, boys. You're here to change this. But I need to hammer it into your motherfucking head. Because the problem you've got, you ain't going to fix it yourself if your own fucking brain's lying to you. That's why I make you come here, don't I? I've had this. It killed me. I don't want you to go through the same shit, do I? Your RAS, boys. I'm speaking to all of you. Alex, Ash, Ken, Jeff, if he was here. Jeff is one of the worst. God bless him. Love the guy. Truly want to help him, but he's got this bad. If your brainstem is fucking trained for threat detection, comfort seeking, familiar patterns, bros, what is going to happen? It's going to be, your physique's going to be shit. Your self-care's going to be shit. You're not going to be approaching girls. You're not going to be going on dates. You're not going to be building anything. Because it's in your goddamn brainstem. You understand? Your RAS has been filtered, and you know what it does? This is what happened to me. My brain couldn't even imagine going on a date. My brain couldn't even imagine going on and losing weight. I was the same weight, yeah, for so many years, 270 pounds for so many years. My actual RAS couldn't imagine it. So every year we couldn't even lose a pound because of how my brain was wired. Yeah. Comfort seeking patterns, all of this. I tried, man, and I couldn't get out of it. And the thing is, your brain is not showing you reality, because if it did, your entire identity would collapse. Because if Ken truly was exposed to a reality where he could go out, have a great dating life, have a location independent business, if his brain like was confronted with that right now, right fucking now, it would be too much cognitive dissonance for him to even remain sane. Like he wouldn't be able to sleep at night. His entire concept of self-image, it would just totally fucking burn down to ashes. And this is just how the brain works. It's got this RAS in it, reticular activating system, because it's trying to maintain a sense of stability and coherence. But the problem is yours is all miscalibrated. Okay? So, essentially, the only slide that really matters in terms of what we now do about it RAS plus conditioning equals destiny. That's it. Nothing else. If you get this slide, just if it just clicks somewhere in your brain, you will eventually break through. RAS plus conditioning equals destiny. Once your reticular activating system is convinced that you can live in a different reality, and once you condition yourself to actually live in that reality, you're going to get it. Simple. Simple. That's performance, man. That's how you get breakthrough. That's how you get transformation. RAS plus conditioning equals destiny. Conditioning sets your identity. Identity then bleeds into training the RAS. And RAS filters perception. It starts to actually shift these random automatic thoughts that you have. Currently, your RAS is producing these scrambled bullshit automatic thoughts that I can't do this. Oh, it's too hard. I'm bored. I can't do it. I don't want to do it. Blah, 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 blah. But once you shift it and your perception shifts, once your perception is that, well, if I just stack meaningful, stimulating activity every day to change my conditioning, then I can get what I want. Once your brain starts to have that perception of reality, you're going to change your behavior, and then you're going to change your conditioning. This invisible loop runs your life. Genuinely does. It runs it. It's happening subconsciously. All of your life that you woke up and lived today is this invisible loop. So what you now have to do is change what you repeatedly do under these emotions of stress and boredom and fear and all the crap thoughts. Oh, I don't want to do it today. Oh, tomorrow. Blah, blah, blah. That conditioning is so motherfucking convincing. It's so powerful. It's relentless. It's in your head all day. But when you start to understand that if you do this every day, you can shift that conditioning, your reality will rearrange itself. You don't even really have to do it. How do I know this? I'm sat here in Roma Norte, in a beautiful part of Mexico City. The sun is beaming in. I've got a date scheduled later on with a lovely lady. I'm going to be, after this call, and do some approaches and go to the ice bath and sauna. I decided that I was going to live like that about 6 or 7 years ago. And I remember I wrote it on the internet, and I wrote this thing called the Life Authoring Exercise, and I made it public. All I did from that moment on until now was I just decided each day I'm going to put in the right stimulating activities into my life. And if I repeat it enough, it will be my reality. Now it is. And I've still got several levels I need to ascend. But this is just how I do it, because this is the way it's done. This is how the human animal works. All right. Where attention goes, energy flows. Attention is neural firing. Repeated firing creates wiring. And if you wire it, it becomes default behavior. The same happens to stagnation. When you motherfuckers are playing small and not achieving, when you are not even going after goals you truly want. Like, if you truly want something, you start to take massive action. If you don't even want it, you're gonna be stagnant as hell. If you're living small, not going after if your life is boring, you're gonna be stagnant as hell. If you're not talking to the kind of people you want to talk to, if you're not going to the places you want to go to, if you're just sitting there bored each day doing the same repetitious bullshit, you are never going to move, because it's going to keep you in the configuration you're in now. As you live stagnant, guess what breeds fear? Fear's best friend is a lack of action. Fear's best friend is just playing it small. Oh, okay, bro, I'll just do a bit. I'll do this here, there. I'll do a few hours maybe. It just perpetuates that dark emotion. If your intellectual mind is truly not stimulated because you're not being creative, you're not being expanded, you don't even care about what you're doing, fear grows. And fear is a restrictive emotion. But if you put your attention on action, literally, like the trick, yeah, is if you just say, fuck it, I'll just act anyway, you start to reduce fear. And as fear reduces, these bullshit thoughts actually reduce. And all of a sudden, you're not feeling exhausted. All of a sudden, you're not feeling absolutely wiped out. If you actually saw your life as a mission and you're the hero and you're going on the attack, and if you did the repetitions every day, your brain would be on your side. If you actually had that level of like pursuit, right? Energy doesn't follow desire, it follows focus. So, final slide then, and then we go into the group. The body seeks balance. Growth requires temporary imbalance. If your brain, and you fucking know it's fighting you every second, is telling you bullshit, it's telling you negative stuff, it's making you fatigued and lazy, if you recognize it, then you have to understand to get out of that, you've got quite a journey ahead. Because you are in a stagnancy. You're in homeostasis. There's either two ways you could do this. You can be in homeostasis and be a chronic masturbating, slightly low-key depressed guy who wakes up and doesn't really respect himself and knows he's not really living the life he wants to live. Or instead of that, you can be in growth. Growth requires a little bit of discomfort. Challenging homeostasis produces growth. If you're not challenging yourself, you're in comfort. And you know what happens when you start to play the body's game. When you start to just allow biological comfort to be there, your brain is just so much smarter than you do. It'll find ways to make you do nothing. It'll beat you every time. You can't try to beat the brain. It's evolved through millions of years to know how to make you do exactly nothing. You have to choose growth and make a systemic overall decision to live a life of growth. All right. So that, gentleman, was the presentation to wake you up and to introduce some new ideas to the group. I want us now, as we do our group coaching, to reflect on, to understand how it might be showing up in our lives, and understand if you're not experiencing a genuine sense of mission and purpose, you have a bit of a journey ahead of you. Not everyone is experiencing this in the group right now, sure. And not everyone necessarily is always under the cosh of conditioning. There's guys here right now who've had unbelievable periods of forward expansion. Several of you have had I'm telling you, I've seen people here have fucking world-class performance that if they just stayed with it, they would be elite. I've seen it from many people here, actually. But the problem is the conditioning wasn't there. And you didn't know this shit. And you don't know how constant and obsessive you got to be. Because all of you, well, no, I don't know if everyone's got it as bad, but certainly I know for a fact some of you, very conditioned. Very conditioned. Yeah. But the purpose of why we're doing this together is to wake you up and understand your brain might not be on your side right now. And no matter where you are, this is always going to be something you need to be aware of, the limiter, the way the brain just limits you and 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 just lies to you. Because remember, going back to the first part of the presentation, we're wired to be like this. We're fucking hardwired to be like this. To get out of this shit, it's like this. It's like you have to have this mind-splitting experience. Okay? So, I'm now going to bring us back to the group. We can create a bit of space now to share. And what I want to do is I want to go around the group and I want us just to, if we can share what comes up, if you want to, any thoughts, that would be a really positive way to kick our call off today. I'll go around in the order that they're appearing on the screen. So I've got Ken right next to me. Ken, what comes up for you?
I think what comes up for me is my brother and the negative conditioning from my family as well. Because if you're talking about which tribes I'm in, the crap these people talk, and I suppose part of the trouble is it must reach inside my brain to some extent, mustn't it? He was saying, and he even seemed kind of proud of figuring something out. Like he was saying that biohacking is like the male equivalent of, like, Gwyneth Paltrow's dodgy Goop corporation that sells weird nonsense that's expensive. It was the stupid. He's never been a rational person, but like he was acting like he'd really figured something out. Like biohacking is like that, and then he talked about howling at the moon and stuff. Like we didn't howl at the moon, did we, Ravi? We ate fish. It's just the stupidest, most off the mark crap, and it reminds me too much of Dad as well. But like, I've got to be 100 miles away from thoughts like that, and it's like no wonder. Like it's so muddled, it's so wrong, and yeah, it just throws all of any positive attempt to become healthier just kind of gets thrown into the same bucket. I've got to be 100 miles away from thoughts like that, and I think at the moment, I guess I'm not.
Ken, have you ever seen the movie The Dark Knight Rises?
Yeah.
So at the start of that, Batman, who's a complete gangster and clearly a very powerful, successful man, after a lot of adverse experiences, he's completely destroyed. He's at ground zero. His thoughts are now so negative. What's the point? The world is evil. There's no way back. Look what happened to my family. There's no justice. Yeah? When you're on a downward loop and downward spiral, the thoughts and the resonance you're at, you build a certain homeostasis around that where there's an idea that could fucking help you, you just see it as the thoughts that come to you is to reject that as absolutely ludicrous. Because at a low level of vibration, someone who is happy and positive and expanding is outside of your reality. And remember what the brain does to maintain a sense of reality. The identity would just collapse if we could accept that idea intellectually. When I first saw biohacking, would you believe, when I was having very severe anxiety, I was about 21 in university and I rejected it. And I saw all the videos and I thought, well, fucking hell, this is really complicated, isn't it? And this guy's quite arrogant and he seems a bit of a dick. Oh, I'll just go and take supplements instead. And then 2 years after that, I was a housebound agoraphobic with extreme anxiety. Because my evolution of my psyche at that time couldn't accept new ideas. And it's very similar to like guys in the black pill community. I am someone who's also been down that rabbit hole himself, very dark rabbit hole. And I have had to go on quite a journey to get out of that. A guy who's actually gotten to such a low level of fucking consciousness, you can only coalesce and believe these ideas if you've had periods of your life of really shit experiences, isolation, disappointment, lack of like belief in the world, cynicism. If you've been smacked by life, then when you are at a low frequency and someone tells you or you see black pill ideas, it makes sense to you because that's what your RAS can accept. Your reticular activating system can accept that. Yeah. And if you put a guy like me, who is supposed to be the hard case incel king, yeah. If you point to a guy like me and said, well, hold on a minute, This guy's a former extreme incel, housebound, agoraphobic, black pill virgin, and he's out there fucking banging the guns. If you put me in front of them, their fucking RAS can't even accept it. And they will say, well, the girls who are responding to him are paid actresses. He's lying about his results. Can you live with me? And you've seen it, okay?
Yeah, I know that
you
the
know.
economic. You must have to be paying a lot for a lot of actresses.
Yes. And even just as me and you walking around there, yeah, and just talking to women, you could see how they're responding to me. But Ken, the thing is, at a lower level of reality and frequency, your brain can't actually accept new ideas because your RAS is so fucking scrambled. I don't even blame guys like your brother, right? Because they've got the mind virus. Their conditioning is fucked. Yeah. So you're getting how it works. And now, rightly so, Ken, you actually just have to escape. And as going back to the example of Bruce Wayne in The Dark Knight Rises, do you see how he actually rises out of that pit? He's at rock bottom and he has to build himself up by doing press ups and sit ups and all these sorts of things that strengthen his mind to actually lose his fear of death. Because how low he's gotten, even just to get back to a stable footing again, right? He has to take a leap of faith. He has to lose his fear of death and say, either I leap and I catch the rope and I get out of this, or I fucking die anyway, because there's no lower than this. That's often the moment we have to reach to finally accept the reality of how to change conditioning. So I know, Alex, I'm going to bring you in next. So I know you have to go because you've got gym, right? Alex, I want you to contribute. What for you comes up as we explore this topic?
Oh yeah. So I guess two things. One similar to Ken, just our teacher here is like very pressures us like just to pass and just do the minimum. But like doing the harder material is what actually kind of is challenging and energizes and feels energizing. So I'd say that similar to what Kim was saying. And then I think also from the call yesterday, like however my brain thinks to do things, I usually should do like the opposite of that. Cause I know I was thinking like after class, I should study first and then do like the brain reconditioning, but it is actually better to do the opposite. So yeah, exactly. The brain is not good. Yeah.
It's not on your side right now because of how you've been conditioned. So that's a really interesting point, Alex, and let's just flesh that out. So it's counterintuitive when we're coming to get breakthroughs. Counterintuitive is how a lot of things in life work. The mainstream culture promotes magic pills. If you want to improve your physique, they sell you some fucking fat loss pill. Or at least it was like, most of our dominant culture, when people want to get in shape, they look at a magazine of some diet, some fad diet that someone did and dropped a bunch of weight. And they think that's the reality of how you do these things. Or if it's a guy who wants to get in shape and build some muscle mass, they sell him an infomercial product of some sort of at-home exercise equipment to build his fucking biceps or whatever. And this is the popular conditioning of all these magic pill ideas that the world likes to basically put in our face. If you're struggling with consistency and focus, well, you can go online and they'll tell you you've got ADHD and you need to take these medications and pills. And that's just frankly a lot of the brainwashing we've got in our society. And at the moment that you finally get so frustrated, you come to a group like this, it's because you've woken up to understand that we live in a completely idiotic world where the influences of marketing and mass consumerism that is influenced to incentivize to sell products is pumping this conditioning out. And we're exposed to this since we're kids. Like, we're exposed to this shit through hours of advertising. If you live in a city and you go around and look at billboards, you're getting exposed to it. Social media, right? The things your friends are saying, oh, he's getting this because he's just smarter than us. we've got ADHD or anxiety, he's confident, or all of these bullshit things that we get conditioned into are lying dormant and run our life. And they just totally run our life. So where we arrive here, we actually have to understand that if we're not getting the results we want, and if the outcomes we're looking for are not there, if they're not there, you know what we have to humble ourselves and admit? We have to admit that our current configuration of our brain conditioning is wrong. You can't trust it. It's not on your side. It is wrong. Because you want to know, there's people who don't necessarily have this mind virus. You've got really confident people out there who just totally think for themselves. There's people who like just internally decide that the school system is bullshit. They don't believe it. And they just become entrepreneurs and make millions. And these sorts of people out there have this mindset. You know, not everyone drinks the Kool-Aid of popular culture and society, but many of us have. So thereafter, you get to a decision point where you say, okay, this shit ain't working for me. What's the alternative? The alternative is reconditioning the brain using the tools and tactics that we do in this group. And if you do it for long enough, the automatic thoughts your brain produces change. Your RAS recalibrates. You stop when you wake up. You know what my brain does when I wake up in the morning? It says, well, Ravi, you've been unconscious for 7 hours or whatever. You're going to be in your old conditioning. Get up and start doing things. So I get up and go around and get a coffee and go out and see the sunrise. And I live like that because I've already had these inflection points in my life where it got burned into me. And what you want to use your coaching here for is to arrive at those moments of intellectual expansion where your old ideas, I'm challenging them so much. I'm putting pressure on you. I'm using these insults and these like tactics to pull you out of your insanity, because that is what it is. It is insanity when your brain is telling you, oh, I'm bored. There's opportunity out there. There is level 10 out there. It is insanity to be in your house not getting it. It is actual insanity. It just is. And you're being subjected to it by tech companies, by governance, what they teach you in school, hierarchies. You think in a tribal society, you get stood up as a little boy and examined and tested. And if you can't do this, think what it does to your tribal brain to be put through examination and testing and you don't belong here and all this bullshit. Think what it's done to us. So why do you believe in this society anymore? You got to be rebellious and reclaim your sovereignty of your brain and stop living in the slave reality. Because if you haven't got sovereignty over your own brain and you can't decide where you want to go, what you want to do, you are a sheep. You are a slave. And you are just an automaton. Okay? An automaton. Just being buffeted around by mainstream culture. And if you recognize that and you can't wake up, if you're not ready to wake up yet, right? You've been all fucking scammed so badly. Your problems run way deeper than you may realize just yet. Because when I hit my rock bottom, when I got exposed to all this shit, it lit a fire under my ass so bad. I was angry at like the world for making me a housebound agoraphobic. I was angry at life for putting me in the position where I had no confidence left, no belief. So I just decided I'm going to decide who I want to be, and I just didn't stop from there. That has to be the moment you get to. And some of you, the gears are turning, I can absolutely tell. So again, just really, I'm saying this for you, Alex. If the conditioning is fucked you over this bad, you have to hammer it home day in, day out until your brain stops generating these automatic thoughts. And it's going to make you tired. It's going to make you unmotivated. It's going to do all of that. I understand that. That's why I teach you biohacking alongside this shit, because I don't want you to spike your cortisol in excess. But there is an avenue out of this hell, and it's there. All right? Does that make sense? Good. All right. SBG, as we explore this concept then today of brain conditioning, how not to be a lazy slug and break social conditioning, what comes up for you? Is this relevant to you? Have you been through this in your own life?
Yeah, I thought of a lot of things. So one that struck me is when you talked about more the fight mentality, or the kind of like the grind set people call it, versus habits, and how literally everything I've got done the last few years has just been a habit. There's not been like a set battle where I've had to show up and like fight something. It's literally just been a habit over and over again. I'm sure there is like that, probably that like capacity, or like the way of trying to look at things like a fight, or like a grind, probably literally is for like fighting things. It's probably is like, like a fight or flight type nervous system response, when like 99% of life is just habits, and that kind of building phase, rather than actually like putting it to the test. Yeah, and in a battle, for instance. So yeah, it made me think of that a lot, especially the last week. Just going door to door has just been a habit. It's felt really trippy. I mean, I was even sat around today thinking, I'm bored. Maybe I should go and knock on some doors, which is good. It means it's kind of coming back in again. It's it feels like the gym too. It's the same same mindset.
Yeah. Powerful. This is a really interesting point, because this is how those who break through begin to think when it comes to how they approach their day-to-day performance, mindset, and also demonstrates a really popular trap people fall into. The nervous system is really where a lot of these ideas are based off. The brain, how our brain perceives data coming in, because that's really all it fucking ever is data. You've got a subconscious brain. It inputs data through the sense organs, the eyes, the ears, the mouth, the skin. That's all it ever is data input. Okay. And if your brain is coding it as safe and within your RAS and within the parameters of your identity, you'll be able to do it. You can go do. No problem. No problem at all. Do you have resistance brushing your teeth? No. Do you have resistance taking a shower? I would fucking hope not. Fortunately, I'm not in the room with you guys, so I wouldn't have to deal with it everywhere anyway. But, point being, I'm going to take these off. Can you still hear me? Is it okay? Can you guys still hear? Okay, great. So, point being, the key aspect is that if your brain isn't tagging it as a risk, it's going to let you massively amplify that. So here's the failure of the grind set mentality. It's not getting it. It's not getting it. Brain conditioning isn't forced. Brain conditioning is not done through gritted teeth. Brain conditioning is done through minimum effective dose compounded over time to build new neural pathways. But I also acknowledge that when your brain is extremely conditioned to resist, you do need to just kind of grin and bear it and just do, whilst accepting your brain's going to be on fire and it's going to scream. But that's a stark difference between this, oh, let's go fucking fight, and okay, well, I don't really want to do it, but I'll do it. And accepting, even for every minute of that hour, your brain might be freaking out. But the idea behind this is conditioning, conditioned response. The way to look at all habits and performance and any goal achievement is like learning an instrument. Ali, when you first played guitar the first time, you probably weren't as virtuoso and attuned as you are now. I certainly wasn't. After the first day, you didn't just put it down and say, well, this doesn't come to me, whatever. You did it again. And it felt weird. The next day you did it again. And it was a bit smoother, but you probably were frustrated. After a week, it gets a little bit more coherent. And after a month, you can play a song. The same approach needs to be done to everything you're trying to achieve. You've just got to see it as like a dispassionate moving through the motions of just trying to etch that behavior into your brain. Because once your brain accepts it, deems it safe, you basically can just keep repeating from there. And the mindset of repetition will create that. Now, there's clearly some pitfalls, because depending on how bad your conditioning is, you might need a lot of reconditioning work to even expand your brain enough to where it will let you do those things. But the fundamental mindset that will get you over the line, it's this. It's what we talked about today. It's exactly what you got to see it as just brainwashing and changing things. And then you can do it. All right? Cool. Last but not least, Ash, what comes up for you? Have you experienced this? Can you relate?
Yeah, quite a lot actually. Sorry, I don't know if it works. No, but quite a lot during the. I mean, through the slides itself, I've been. I think my conditioning is quite suggestive at some time, and it's quite anti-suggestions. Some other time, sitting down, doing the stuff that needs to be done. Sometimes it's easy, and that's why it feels like okay, I need to still do it, even though my brain says, okay, this is not. That's yeah, that's where it. I need to put some work.
Yeah, but here's the thing. That is fixable. The overarching idea is this, Ash. How you want to look at getting your brain from adverse conditioning and stagnation into massive action, because that's, if you can't get into massive action, it is over. That's the truth. If you can't truly live a massive action lifestyle, mediocrity is going to ensue. You are just going to be mediocre as a motherfucker. Or if you want to be all you can be and push your human limits and push your human potential, you have to live a massive action-based lifestyle. Is it exhausting? Yes. Is it a lot of work? Yes. Does it require tremendous focus? Is it effortful? Yes. Can you condition and train yourself to embrace it as a beautiful reality? 100% yes. 1000% yes. You can embrace it to be the most beautiful experience of your life. I know, because I do it myself. So the concept that Ash is really going to speak to you in what you shared is momentum. Momentum. You currently don't have momentum. And therefore, if you don't have momentum, you're going to fall into stagnation. Momentum is generated through repetitious focus. How do you do it? I like to just use this heuristic for people of data. My favorite heuristic. If you look at your day and break it down hour by hour, how much data is really being activated in your brain? Here's what most people's day looks like. They get up, they haven't really got a structure, they haven't really got much going on. They may go around here, diver around here, maybe watch this, maybe do this. They might do a little bit of this or do a little bit of that, go to work, barely focus. Over the course of their day, their brain may be captured in terms of stimulating meaningful mental input, maybe about 45 minutes to an hour. And you know what then is going to happen? They've got 23 hours of their day, that's on autopilot. Even when you're asleep, your brain is still active, it's still running. So you've got 23 hours a day of just bullshit in your subconscious running the show. Absolutely running the show. And why would your brain change? How is that going to create neuroplasticity? How is that going to create new neural pathways? It's not. It's not. Living small and not doing enough is how it's just everything collapses. And for that reason, gaining momentum and going on the motherfucking attack, even if it's excruciating, is how you start to actually get out of your overall life stagnation and into massive action. People can feel it when you're in massive action. Things are getting done. Things are moving forward. Things are manifesting. A lot of your life problems is autocorrect. Just through massive action. 80% of your life problems just take care of itself. Because your brain is expanded. Resistance goes down and down. Your brain lets you do more and more. You get more competence. You get more confidence. You start to go up in the unconscious dominance hierarchy. You're exuding more energy. So how do we actually do this? Ash, the key concept of momentum is based on the concept that like stagnation creates more stagnation and action creates more action. So you have to actually get in this side of the equation and looking at your day. If you are not stimulated, if you're not inspired, if your brain isn't producing those unconscious autonomic responses of being motivated and being driven and going out and taking it, it's because you're not putting the right inputs in. You're not doing enough. You're not actually, like, your brain's not firing. So all that's going to happen is the stagnation is going to keep screaming. We explored how the brain works. The automatic biological programs to keep you inert are going to keep activating unless you have structure, unless you have action, unless you push yourself every day. And by the way, if you do it for a period of time, it's no longer pushing because you gain momentum. You gain momentum. Being all you can be and going after your goals so blindly is probably the way out of like 80% of human problems. People are depressed and anxious and like in their head and stuck and living small and bored and in pain because they're not doing enough, would you believe? And if you leveled up the amount of action in your day and not just like things you think you should do, but what you actually truly want, because that's another common pitfall. Like if you're just living small and not, if you want to go build a great social life and you're not doing it, that's going to kill you. If you want to go build a location independent business and you're not doing it, that's going to kill you. If you want to go live in an interesting place and you're not doing it, all of these things just take you into lack and stagnation further and further and further. The best way to live the most expanded life you can live and be all you can be is basically put yourself on trajectory to get what you want. Decide what you want and go after it whole motherfucking hardly across every domain. Relationships, health, business, finance. Go. Just go so hard that all of this negativity hasn't got time and space to manifest. Like that is a really powerful way to get out of this. If you're going after what you want so hard that you haven't got the time and space to brood and get into these debates in your head, you will find it goes. But the key thing to understand is when you haven't got momentum, it's almost impossible. Like we talked about this extensively today. The brain of a guy who hasn't got momentum, who isn't really on the attack, it's almost impossible. All the thoughts are doubt, negativity, oh, dismissing this, just your automatic thoughts are such bullshit because that's what happens in stagnation. Your brain is lying to make you do nothing. You get it? Are you starting to get the idea? At its core, it's a low level of anxiety and fear. And it mangles your resources to create these negative thoughts. That's what fear does. And you live in fear when you're not taking enough action. How do you get out of fear? Just push yourself. After this call, which is going to end in about 7 minutes, I'm immediately going to go out on a cold approach. Immediately for an hour. Maybe not a whole lot of volume. I don't care. It's a habit. After that, I'm going straight to the sauna. Hour cold plunge in sauna. After that, dinner. After that, date. See what happens. If the date goes nowhere, which I hope it doesn't, I'm going to go to the clubs. That's called massive action. A day that is so full of pushing yourself, every day you do that. What did I tell you about data? Does that sound like there's hours of good data going into my brain? Yes. So what's my brain going to do? It's going to adapt to that. It's going to start to wire to that. It's going to start to produce automatic thoughts to pursue those things. But if I sit around and don't do much at all, look how awful my conditioning is from my past. My brain's going to be black pilled F. It's just going to be that. That's the reality. Many of us have got bad imprinting. So to get out of it, you have to get the fuck after your goals. So, Ash, where you are right now, what's going on? What would you say is really the substance of your day right now?
It doesn't involve massive action. It's a lot more doing things through lot of answering a lot of resistance. That's where it is.
So did you guys see even how Ash answered? Like, did he sound inspired? Did he sound energized? Did he present as if he's on a fucking mission? No. The way he spoke, it's clear his brain's full of fear. He's like, he's just, when you're not fully locked in, that's what happens. It's not even your fault, Ash. This is not your fault. You've been conditioned. 95% of the population's having this problem, if not more. 99% of them. And no one cares because this is what the tech companies want. No one cares. This is what government wants. Your biology doesn't even care. Only people who've lived this and broken out of it. I was like this. And it's certain. Mediocrity is certain. Fucking 100% guarantee regret is certain if you do keep going like this. But you know a beautiful thing? Here's the mindset to get out of it. Ash, once you accept your brain's lying, every hour you put in, let it scream. Like, let it. The big mindset that helped me. Consider an ocean liner in the ocean, right? Those enormous ocean liners that carry petroleum and all of that. You understand, for an ocean liner to even move like 1 inch, the captain has to put the steering wheel on full lock, and to move 1 inch takes about 2 hours for the ocean liner to move 1 motherfucking inch. But by the time it's moved 1 inch, that's enough to get it to its destination. And it might have then gone 7,000 miles a different way. That's how you got to understand when you've got adverse brain conditioning. Every hour you put in is just moving it 1 millimeter. After 1 day, all the hours you were asleep, your brain was back to bad conditioning because you couldn't move it. So you're going to wake up, you have to fight again and move it again. Okay? But then when you wake up, get back on it and stay on your path and keep doing and doing, and your brain will move a bit more. And it probably will take you about 3-4 days to even get any basic momentum. But here's what happens. When your brain starts to automatically create new thoughts and new emotional responses, you get out of this derp unconscious state. You get out of why you're presenting is quite downtrodden is because the emotion of fear is too high in your nervous system. But the more action you take, it'll take days and days and days, and you have to keep doing it every day. That's how you move the ocean line out just an inch. And then you'll get momentum. But gentlemen, all of you who are on this path alongside me, you've got to understand this is just a life choice. We're all deciding as a group just to go against our brain's conditioning. We're choosing, and thereafter we just have to live this lifestyle of a bit of friction and just go and just do and just go execute. And don't live small. Don't be bored. You have to push hobbies. You have to live at every level. You have to go take it. You have to be excited. You have to go fight for things. And the smaller your goals are, the harder your life's going to be. Because your brain's not going to have enough to reconstruct itself. The bigger your goal, the faster the brain rewires. Often I just force myself I put myself in situations where if I don't figure it out, I'm fucked. You guys were there when my business partnership imploded. It's taken now months to get new deals on the table. I haven't even closed them yet, but it's do or die out here, man. Like, I ain't got a backup plan. I'm going to arrive in New York on the 1st of April and just figure it out. And that's just how you do it. Your brain will adapt. Success will come, but only if you're living in massive action. The more contracted you are, everything goes down and down and down. Your physique gets worse. You gain more fat. Your brain sharpness just reduces. Your motivation, everything just goes down. Because what did we talk about for over an hour and a half in this presentation? The natural state of the brain is to conserve energy. Sorry. I ain't gonna let my brain beat me. And I don't think you should let your brain beat you either. Yeah? Good. So, Ash, you've got broader goals. My challenge to you is just commit to them 10 times harder. Go away and ask yourself, what does a level 10 commitment to all these goals look like? And execute at that level. Execute at that level. Same for you, Ken. You've got goals at every level, and pushing yourself aggressively towards those you've got a great business you can build. Pushing yourself to truly build that and give it everything and stop being so in your comfort zone is how you're going to break past all this. And gentlemen, if you do this, what you'll find, I'm not telling you it's going to happen in an hour. You have to fight for this. Every few hours, your brain's going to let go. You go to bed, the war starts again the next day. Your brain's lying to you again. It's going to be blabbing all sorts of shit. You're going to be tired as shit. And you go again. This is about living a life of a bit of friction to start to move this way. But once you do it and get momentum, there's nothing really can stop you. All right? Good. Gentlemen, in closing then, today's call was very powerful. I want to thank you all for coming here today, for being present, for being engaged, for switching your brain on, for being open and expanded to new ideas. Yeah? This is what it takes. It is this fire. It is this intensity. When you're in a culture and a society that lies to you, to get you out of that shit, I have to convince and persuade you to come here and fight the mediocrity that is being pushed to you every second of the day. And if you stay in the container, and if you fire yourself up and just fucking fight, we're going to get somewhere special this year. And that is the standard, and you can do it. Absolutely you can. The things that we all have already seen, that Alex had to go to his gym session. This motherfucker has been struggling with addiction for years. He's already changed quite considerably. And, you know, if he breaks through, there's a milestone coming up for him. If he gets it, man, it is one of the biggest wins of this group. And all of us are demonstrating this. Ash, you're going to break through. You're going to get out of your fucking stuckness. Yeah, because you understand what it is. You understand what it is. It's a journey, but you're going to get out of it and be who you want to be. All of us are. And all we're going to do with that is use that momentum to understand the reality of life for males is you have to live at the very bleeding edge of reality, which is a slight discomfort, pushing, because we're pack animals designed to carry a load. And if you do that, things will manifest and materialize. All right. That was a powerful call today, gentlemen. Thank you for your attention and participation. I'm going to leave you to it now. Let it percolate, let it hit. And as we head into next week, it's an opportunity to take massive fucking action. And let's do it together. Sound good, boys? Yes. Great. Much love. Checking out for the day. Speak to you guys soon.